because it is also their responsibility to try and support their teachers to be more accountable to the sector. That way, even all Kenyans will say, surely the teachers are working hard, surely these teachers, but we are not saying that it is all teachers, but we are saying where fingers have been pointed, can we see improvement? Can we see more accountability? Because such debates cannot be true. Let me say, when you're looking at statistics that are saying there are class 8 learners that cannot be able to read class 2 work.
Yes.
No, seriously? Then you want to tell me that it is the role of the Ministry of Education? Yes, it is the role of the... In fact, the buck stops with the Ministry of Education. But the TSC is the manager of the teachers in the schools. So we want to see a lot of control coming in here. That is what we want to see. And we once held a stakeholders meeting in Garissa. I want to tell you something very interesting, which came out from Garissa, that most of the teachers there are running shops. The containers are landing from where some of them are selling goats and camel. And that is the pure truth, which I want to take the burden of saying it. Because we must put these issues on the table and we must talk about them squarely. I come from a village and I can count to you the teachers there. A good number of them are drunk. Even as we speak, they go to school drunk. That is the plain truth. So where is the problem? Where is the problem? Can't we see a profession coming up? And we have interesting bodies. We have professional bodies, such as the Kenya Primary School Heads Association. We also have the Secondary School Heads Association, which are professional bodies, which should be supporting the teachers and really doing a lot of research. Why I am talking about research is because I know KNUT commands a lot of resources. What research have they done? You just don't walk to government and tell them, we want this money. Bother to do a bit of research. How are other countries doing it? How are they able to beat all these challenges? How are they financing all these responsibilities? Do research about education financing. Advise government that if we raise money from these sources, we are having minerals coming from everywhere. If that is the kind of positive attitude we want to see coming out, really. And that is a value addition we are talking about.
All right. Talking about the accountability debate, there's this particular question here. Perhaps so that you clarify. Somebody says here, the lady saying that we shouldn't use children and parents to negotiate. Please ask her what can be used to talk to people who don't envisage any internal policy change for 30 years. It's just talk.
No, I think that is not what is happening in other places. No, really. And that is why I am saying, can our unions bother to use these a lot of resources they have? The other day they were talking about having resources from teacher unions of Denmark and America. Let them invest in research. Let them study and see what can we do. Because it doesn't help anyone when we keep asking for more money, more money, more money. But we are not bothering to say, how can we enlarge the fiscal space, for example, so that all these monies we are talking about can be generated. The only thing that will happen is that in the event that they want to insist that this is the opportune time they want to use the learners and so on and so forth, there isn't much they will gain. Like the last year's strike, for how long did it go and how much? I want the teachers to tell us what gains did they make after losing all this amount of time, and how far can we go with these strategies? How much more can we squeeze the government? And also, I think it is also not fair for the unions to target the laptop project. Because as much as one may want to think that it is not a priority, it is one of those things that can support the delivery of the curriculum, and it is one of those things that can ease the pressure on the teachers. Remember, even as we are talking about promotions, we still have a deficit of about 80,000 teachers. So given the fiscal environment, can we be able to support all those teachers? We are saying there are other strategies that can work to support the delivery of the curriculum. So let nobody target the project that is aimed at targeting the teachers. When I went to the United States and I visited one of the schools in Colorado, the learners there amazed me because they were very tiny learners. I think they are third graders. And those third graders, when I was giving them a talk, some of them were busy summarizing what we are talking about on their iPads and their mini laptops. So when I finished, one of them told me, no, wait, I want to show you what you were telling us. So she gave a summary of what they were discussing on the laptop, and it was on the laptop, and she was just taking me through the PowerPoint presentation. And I said, really, if really we want to compete, I think this is where we want to go. But I think we can do whatever. There is something we can do with the little we have. There is something we can do. Can we try and be more effective? Because even the Teacher Service Commission has not been very fair on this matter. If you look at the posting of schools, of teachers to schools, some schools work here in Nairobi. Some of them have so many teachers. There are some schools that have, out of 24 teachers, some have 20 female teachers, and only 4 or even 2. But go to these rural villages and you'll find some of them have even no female teacher at all, you know. So these are the issues we are saying. Can the government take control? Can the government take control? What kind of control am I talking about? I am talking about, can you harmonize so that this teacher shortage issue, we can first see it really after harmonizing that this school has this number of teachers and so on and so forth, so that we could even be probably talking about statistics that are not there. Remember, the current Secretary General of KNUT, there is a time and we really waited for it. I don't know where that went. He had talked about exposing ghost teachers that are on TSC's payroll. I don't know where he got with that, but I think it is information you would want to see how that is happening. And then you can now start seeing the accountability issues we are paying. Could we pay people who are not even on the payroll?
Wow. What about motivation?
Yes.
If you look at those academies,
yes,
first of all, the numbers are not there. There's the population of students. There is no class with 60 students or 100, which happens in public schools. And they're able to supervise and mark books. But in private schools, because it's free,
yes,
you used to have very good schools like Nairobi Primary School, Olympic, which were doing very well because the teachers controlled the numbers. But these days you can't control, and there's no motivation.
Yeah, and I think well, there's an issue there. But I want to confirm to you today, there's some private schools that are even handling a class with 60 learners. It has been seen. It is there. So I think this is something we have been talking about from the year 2003, when primary education became free. And yes, there is an issue. The teachers are overburdened because at times staring at all those books you have to mark, and even just going around the children and supporting them, it becomes difficult. So yes, there is a discussion there that there is something government needs to do about ensuring that at least the classes are within the benchmarks. But in some places, I want to guarantee you, like in Wajir, we do not have those numbers. There are some classes with even 25 learners in a school. So if we are attributing poor performance to a lot of learners in a class, we want to see this class that has 25 performing very well. So what I am saying is, let us not make blanket statements. A lot of mess in this sector has been blamed on blanket statements. Oh, there is teacher shortage. Oh, the learners are many in a class. Oh, the capitation grant is not enough. All right. Can we work with what we have? And if we cannot work with what we have, I think there's either some players we don't need in the sector, or the government needs to be very serious about the sector, because we are not as desperate as people want us to make look. We are not that desperate.
Yes.
What
do you say about the Form 1 intake, which is going to be the next chapter of next week? Form 1 intake, the academies and the private schools are clamoring.
Yes.
They should get
positions
space in government secondary schools.
Yes.
You see, there are no commensurate academies in secondary school.
Yeah.
So they have nowhere to take their
and I think that is where we pick from.
Yes.
Because why do all of us clamor for private schools at primary level?
But when it comes,
it comes to secondary level, all of us now are colliding at the public school. We want to see what is happening. And I want to tell you that the secondary school teachers are doing wonderful work in this country. And it's about management. It's about management. But it is not just management, because they have resources. Yes, it is not as free as public schools. So finances is one of the key things, because the moment you want your child to get to Alliance, you will part with 80,000-90,000, and that's a known fact. So the challenges we are talking about are not there. They can manage their own issues, and I think that is probably why even public schools are doing very well at secondary level. Let us come to the Form 1 intake. And the issues that we have been talking about over time come to play, where we are faulting the Ministry of Education. Because why are all of us thinking about national schools? Because even this clamor about Form 1 intake, it is only in national school and provincial school, and the clout ends there. And if you look at where all of us are concentrating on, national schools, like last time, they only took 16,000 learners, whereas the district schools that have been neglected took over 61.2% of the population that had sat for the KCPE exams. Why would a country like this one invest so much money only on 16,000 learners and ignore 400,000 learners? Go to those district schools. A good number of them do not even have laboratory. They don't even have library. And that is where we are sending 400,000 learners in this country. What does that mean? When the minister was releasing his speech, he said they are now planning to upgrade 25 more schools. What does this upgrade mean? Upgrade means that these schools are no longer going to be accessible to the poor. I'll give you an example of Kisumu Girls. Kisumu Girls was a provincial school. But when it was elevated to become a national school, when it was a provincial school, the school fees was between 27,000, 35,000. It also went to 40-something thousand. Today, as we speak, the school fees is 74,000. So who can afford that? So that is the agenda that the Ministry of Education is pursuing to further continue marginalizing learners. Why can't we invest? Every school, go to Chavakali Boys today. Chavakali Boys has been elevated to a national school, and they got 30 million Kenya shillings. Go there and associate with even 5 million. You will have hard time accounting for 5 million in the school.
There's nothing that has been done.
There is nothing. Yet the school is now a national school. The school fees is high there, up there on the roof. Learners who cannot afford are running out of the school. Where are we